Can Portugal win the World Cup? That is the question every football fan is asking right now. They just drew 0-0 with Colombia, 13 shots, only 2 on target, and instead of the easier path, they now face Croatia, then Spain, then France, and if they survive all of that, the final. MetLife Stadium, July 19th. So, can they actually do it? Let's break it down. If Portugal had topped Group K, which they needed a win against Colombia to do, they would have faced Ghana in the round of 32. A much easier opponent, and the whole bracket would have opened up differently. Instead, they finished second, and the road to the final just got significantly harder. Round of 32, Croatia. A team Portugal know very well. A team with Luka Modric, still one of the best midfielders in the world at 40 years old. This is not a free pass. Round of 16, most likely Spain. The European champions, arguably the best team in the tournament right now. An Iberian derby in Texas. Quarterfinal, Belgium or one of the best African teams Senegal. Semifinal, France, possibly the favorites. And the final, July 19th, New Jersey. This is not an easy path, but it is not impossible either. Because here's the thing. Portugal have the squad to beat every single one of those teams. They just haven't shown it yet. So, what went wrong against Colombia? Let's be honest, Portugal were poor, not catastrophically poor, but poor enough that a team that also knew a draw was enough for them to qualify, nearly beat Portugal. Colombia had 24 shots, 7 on target. Davinson Sanchez headed in what looked like a winner in injury time before VAR ruled it out by millimeters. Portugal had 13 shots and only 2 on target. Only 2. So what went wrong? Problem number 1. Neither team wanted to take a risk. Both Portugal and Colombia knew a draw was enough to go through. Colombia as group winners, Portugal as runners-up, so the tactical approach from both sides was cautious. Colombia sat back in the first half and waited for counters. Portugal had the ball but couldn't create anything meaningful with it. The midfield, which on paper is one of the best in the entire tournament, was completely disconnected. Problem number 2. The wingers disappeared, Pedro Neto on the right, João Felix behind Ronaldo. Neither of them imposed themselves on the game. Between them, they created almost nothing in open play. João Felix had one acrobatic volley that went over the bar. That was the highlight, and Neto, who was supposed to stretch Colombia on the right channel, barely made a dent. Portugal have Rafael Leao on the bench, one of the most naturally talented left wingers in European football. He came on late, and even he couldn't change the game. Problem number 3. Bruno Fernandes played too deep. Bruno Fernandes is at his best when he is close to the box, getting on the end of chances, making that run into the penalty area at the last second. That's how he became the Premier League's all-time assist record holder at Manchester United. He plays best when he plays forward. Against Colombia, he was deeper, more defensive. He had Portugal's best chance of the game, a close-range shot that Camilo Vargas saved well, but for most of the match, he was too far from goal to have his maximum impact. Problem number 4. Vitinha and Ruben Neves couldn't control the midfield. These are two Champions League winners with PSG. The same PSG midfield that dominated the Champions League for 2 consecutive seasons. But against Colombia, they couldn't impose the tempo. Colombia's press disrupted them constantly. And without Vitinha and Ruben Neves controlling the game from deep, Portugal had no rhythm. Problem number 5. Ronaldo needs the ball more. Wayne Rooney said it on BBC Sport during the Colombia game and he wasn't wrong. Ronaldo isn't doing the defensive work. He isn't pressing. He isn't linking up with teammates. If Portugal are going to carry Ronaldo as their number 9, and they should, because when he gets chances, he scores, then the players around him need to do more running, more pressing, more covering, and Ronaldo needs to be in the positions where the chances arrive. Against Colombia, he wasn't in those positions often enough. So how can Portugal actually win this World Cup? Fix number 1. Play Bruno Fernandes in his best position. Not deeper, not as a box-to-box midfielder. Right behind the striker, close to the box, in the number 10 role. That is where he creates magic. That is where his passing range, his movement, and his ability to arrive late into the penalty area does the most damage. Martinez needs to trust Bruno in that position from the first minute against Croatia. Fix number 2. Start direct wingers. Against Colombia, Portugal played Pedro Neto and João Felix. Both technically gifted, neither of them direct enough to stretch a defensive block. Francisco Conceição is sitting on the bench. One of the most direct, aggressive 1v1 wingers in the squad. He gets at defenders, he drives toward goal, he creates space, and Rafael Leao, when he is at his best, explosive first step, powerful running, devastating in behind. He is one of the most dangerous wide players in world football. He needs to start, and he needs to be consistent. Fix number 3. Unlock Vitinha and João Neves. João Neves did not start against Colombia. He came on as a substitute, and together with Vitinha, 2 PSG Champions League winners, they form the most technically gifted central midfield pair in this Portugal squad. They need to play together from the start, with the freedom to dictate tempo, press high, and play quick vertical passes into Bruno Fernandes. That is the PSG way, and Martinez needs to replicate it at international level. Fix number 4. Get the ball to Ronaldo in the right areas. Ronaldo has already scored in 6 consecutive World Cups. He is the only player in history to achieve that. When he gets chances, he takes them. Portugal scored 5 against Uzbekistan after Ronaldo got his 2 goals. The issue is not Ronaldo. The issue is supply. Give him the crosses, the cutbacks, the through balls in behind the last defender, and he will score. Fix these 4 things, and Portugal do not just have a chance. Portugal have every single ingredient they need to win this World Cup. The goalkeeper, the defenders, the midfield, the wingers, and up front, a man who has waited his entire career for this moment. Croatia on July 2nd is the first test, but the dream is still very much alive. Can Portugal win the World Cup? Yes, if they fix what went wrong against Colombia. Absolutely yes. Drop your prediction in the comments. Can Portugal go all the way? Or does this path eliminate them early? Subscribe. I'm covering every Portugal game from the round of 32 all the way to the final if they get there.